You can now become a channel member here on the channel by simply going to any video right next to the subscribe button and hitting join. For as little as $2.99 a month, you can join and get all kinds of perks such as these loyalty rewards, these little badges, and these custom emojis that you can use during live chats and stuff like that. Not to mention that there's other perks such as monthly member shoutouts and priority reply comments. But if you do the top tier, you can even get access to a Minecraft realm. It's Bedrock only, however. And there's also a Ponytown instant invite whenever I live stream over there on Ponytown. You can get an instant invite to the party and join us on our weird misadventures there. As well, there's exclusive member only videos and all kinds of other things like that. If you don't want to join, I totally understand. You don't have to. You will not lose out on anything. But if you do want to join, just hit that little join button there and you'll be good to go. Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here as Birthmark because today we're going to be going over some details in Ponytown that once you see them, you can never unsee them. I've done a couple of videos like this in the past, and I also of course do other Ponytown things here on my channel, so if you like Ponytown or if you like this video here, then please feel free to check out the rest of my channel. But today, the first thing here on this list of details that once you see them, you can never unsee them, we have to talk about shadows. Shadows in Ponytown are kind of weird if you think about it. So obviously there's a shadow here. This kind of seems to make sense because it's a parasol, a little umbrella, whatever you want to call it, and the shadow is directly below it, how it should be. But then of course there is a sandcastle here and there's a shadow here casting over to the right, which I guess you could argue that it should be, but that would suggest that the sun is way up here in this top left, and well, we can't really see a sun no matter what because we can't see a sky, which is probably a whole thing in of itself. But we can't see the sky, so maybe we can say for argument's sake the sun is up there in the top left. Therefore, everything should be casting slightly to the right. But again, if we look down over here, there is some shadows here that are casting to the left. Well, okay, sure, that's fine as well. But then we get into the very strange thing, and this one kind of blew my mind a little bit when I saw it. But you just straight up have like an inconsistency with the benches here. It's kind of hard to tell, but as you can see, there's a bench here and a bench here. They're basically exactly the same. This one might have pillows on it, but they're exactly the same. As you can see, this shadow is casting towards the right and this shadow is casting towards the left. Also, strangely enough, this shadow is darker than this shadow for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure why that is. Maybe these are just like two items stacked on top of each other by mistake or something like that. I don't know, but it is weirdly darker than the rest. So yeah, there's a little bit of shadow inconsistency there. I guess this one's also super dark. Why is that one so much darker than the one with pillows? Is that just another detail that I'm just now noticing that's also really weird? Yeah, no, that's just another weird detail. Here's two more benches, and they're also darker than the other one. That is another thing. Huh. Well, let's move on to the second thing that I had here on my list. Because if we go over here to the cafe, which this is technically canonically called, you can know this because if you go to the directional signs, it will tell you this is called the cafe. But if we go over here to the cafe, you can see another detail. I'm going to give you guys a second to try and guess what that small detail is that you might not notice. But I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, and that is, hey, look, they're using doormats. They're using doormats as like placemats on the table, and that is pretty disgusting if you ask me, because there's no telling how many people's feet have been all over that. And then again, when you think about it even more, it's kind of weird to think that that might be gross because technically we would be holding everything with our hooves in our mouths anyway, so I don't know. But yes, that is a small detail. I believe this is only for like winter that it will be like this, but still, it's a really weird thing. Once I noticed this, I can't unsee it as a doormat, and it's kind of crazy. And this is actually a doormat or a floor mat or whatever. If you go to your party island and open up your build menu, you'll see it. It's called a floor mat or whatever, and that's what they're using. And I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure they have those little placemats over there in the bakery, but I don't know. I digress. Let's move on to the third thing that once you notice it, you can never unsee it. So here we are in the caves for the next thing that once you notice it, you can never unnotice it, and that has to do with bats. There's bats all over the place, of course. The caves are the most common place that you're going to find them, but during nighttime, bats also will spawn. But what is the small detail that once you notice it about bats, you can never unnotice it? Well, it's the fact that they just straight up never blink. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why the bats just never blink. I don't understand it myself, but unless they are the ones that are sitting on the cliffs or whatever like that, which honestly this kind of looks weird by itself, but these are the only ones that actually blink. They don't blink very often, but they do blink, as you saw right there. But these other ones that are actually flying, they just straight up never blink. Another weird thing about it too is the fact that the bunnies, the other sprite that they have, they do blink. So for whatever reason, they had other animals and critters and stuff like that be able to blink. And they even have the bats blinking, but when they're flying, they just don't blink anymore. And I don't know why, but it's a detail that once I noticed, I can never unnotice, because now the bats are watching you. They see everything you do. So next time you think about ERPing here, just know that the bats can see you. They know what you're doing. Speaking of ERP, we are now here in what used to be known as the fuck forest to talk about spiders. Spiders are a weird thing that once you notice this, you'll never unnotice. As you can see, there's a spider here. As soon as it starts to go up, you might notice it if you look very carefully, as you might have saw there. The spider web just completely disconnects from the spider once it starts going up. It also does this when it goes down. So when the spider comes back down, it will also be disconnected from the spider web until it reaches the bottom. This is a very weird thing. I don't understand why this is the case, but there's another weird thing about this spider that once you notice it, it's also extremely weird, and that's the fact that it has seemingly only 6 legs. So is this even actually a spider? And while we're at it, why the hell is its spider web the same color as its body? That's also really weird. I don't think I've ever in my life seen a black spider web before, even in other video games and cartoons and things like that. I don't think I've ever seen a black spider web, except when it came to Spider-Man 3 when he became Venom. That's right, the spider is Venom. No, but seriously, why is it black, and why is the spider web also black? Because that creates this weird illusion that this might be a very weird long arm, or maybe something else that we shouldn't mention, and stuff like that, and I don't know. But that's a weird thing about this spider. This actually legitimately blew my mind. I was looking for the longest time for a 4th thing on this list, and then I found this spider, and I was like, what the fuck is going on with this spider? Why does it only have 6 legs? Why is it disconnected from the web? And why the hell is it black? It shouldn't be black. That makes no sense. At least the web shouldn't be black, because, you know, that's not what color spider webs are. But anyway, let's move on to this last thing on my list. The next thing on this list, and the final thing on this list, have to do with fruit boxes and like the fruit bowls and the fruit baskets and things like that. And that's the fact that, hey, wait a minute, this fruit box isn't full. There's items in this fruit box that just aren't there for some reason. So obviously if we click it, we can get the apple that we can see there. We can also get the other apple that we can see in there. We can of course get the green apple that we can see in there. We can of course get the oranges and the other orange that has no leaf. And we can even find ourselves a pear and a banana. But this is where things start to get weird, because next up, if we click it again, we see a lemon, but there's no lemon inside this fruit box whatsoever. And then we continue on and there's a green lemon or a lime or whatever, and that's also not in there at all. And then you click it again and you get a carrot, which isn't a fruit to begin with, so why is it in a fruit box? But also, I can't see a carrot in there, so where is it coming from? I don't know, but it's magic or something like that. Not to mention that the mango isn't visible, and the grapes, which you would think are very visible because they're pretty large, are also not visible here. But if we go over to the other fruit box, or rather the fruit basket, the grapes are visible, and the banana, and the orange, and the pear, and the apple, but then there's also a bunch of stuff missing. Again, the lemon, the lime, and all other things. Also, another thing about the fruit basket that you might not notice, or once you do notice is kind of awkward and weird, this banana is seemingly floating. Right? It looks like it's kind of floating because we can see underneath it, there's just nothing underneath it, and so it's just kind of fitting in there in a really weird way, and I get why they did that because it's not really an easy thing to depict, but that banana there is floating. Now, the reason why I mentioned the fruit bowl here is because they actually did this one right. If I click it, I'll get myself a banana, I'll get myself an orange, I'll get myself a parrot, or a pear, not a parrot, a pear, and whatever that purple thing is, and whatever that red thing is, and if I click it again, I'll get back to the banana. So everything that you see in the bowl of fruit here is actually in there, but the basket and the fruit box do not have that same consistency. So yeah, that pretty much does it. There's another thing here, and I noticed it, and now you have to notice it too. This is a very awkward shape of pixels here. Take it that way you will, and that's gonna do it for the video. This is probably gonna be the last video I do about small details and everything like that, at least for a while, because it was really hard to find these details, if I'm being completely honest with you. Honestly, even the fruit box thing is a little bit of a stretch, but hey, who am I to judge? But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do feel free to like, subscribe, share, and do all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become one for yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.